Hey there, everybody. BJ Walters here. I'm going to start doing a video blog here for YouTube. And our first topic, we're going to dive right in. Our first topic is this week's Associated Press Top 25 football poll. You may have noticed, in fact, I'm sure you did, that the big movers included Louisville after that big win over the Florida State Seminoles. They deserve that move. They're probably the best football team in the country right now. But a couple of things that I don't quite understand. And maybe you can help me. Leave some comments. Tell me your thoughts. How is it that Texas A&M is ranked number 10? Now, I will admit I'm not a big fan of the SEC. Mainly because if you root for one of them, it seems you have to root for all of them. I'm not into that, sorry. But A&M beat UCLA in the opening weekend at home in overtime after choking a 15-point lead in the fourth quarter. Then they beat Prairie View A&M. I'm deaf, so I can say this. They'd have been better off playing the University of the Deaf than playing Prairie View A&M. They beat them. Then they beat a bad Auburn team. An Auburn team that won't even make a bowl. And now they're ranked number 10? That begs the question, why? Well, the simple answer is this. ESPN has a contract with the SEC. And I understand that you have to protect your brand, especially if you put the amount of money into it that ESPN has. But at the end of the day, to hype Alabama up at the end of the year, you have to talk about how many good teams they've beaten. And when they play A&M will still be ranked maybe top 10 if they can get by Arkansas Saturday. But here's the thing. Why is it that none of these other teams get the jump? Is it to protect the SEC through the media? That's the sneaky suspicion I get. Now, let's compare A&M with Wisconsin, who's ranked 11th. And I understand that Wisconsin had a less than impressive performance against Georgia State. I get that. But they beat an LSU team that was ranked number 6. Should LSU have been ranked number 6? Of course not. That's not a top 25 team, if we're being honest. Especially with Harris at quarterback. Now, they've made the change since then that will benefit them. But Wisconsin ranked behind A&M after being a top 10 team. A&M has not beaten a team that will finish in the top 25 yet this year. And I hate to pick on the Aggies, but don't they do this every year? Get hot at the beginning of the year, everybody starts talking about playoff or BCS or what have you, and then the Alabama game happens. And with one exception, Johnny Manziel. They get stomped every time they play Alabama. So is that why A&M is ranked number 10 in the country this week? To make Alabama look better when they beat them. The other argument, of course, is Georgia. And I want to talk about Georgia for a second. Because they are now ranked 12th this week. Yeah. The same team that barely got by a North Carolina team that struggled mightily for a half with James Madison is now ranked number 12. On the basis of what? They barely beat Nicholls State, by the way. Barely beat Nicholls State. Struggled a lot with Ohio. I beg your pardon, that was Tennessee that struggled with Ohio. I'm going to get to the Vols in a second. But Georgia has not impressed anybody. Yet here they are, number 12 in the country. Okay, on the subject of Tennessee, because this really doesn't make sense. They beat Ohio by 9. They beat Appalachian State in overtime. And they beat a Virginia Tech team that we have to wait and see about. They shouldn't be ranked in the top 20. Really? Barely beating Appalachian State. Did you see what Miami did to Appalachian State in Boone? Throttled them. Throttled them. It was not even close. So, some big games this weekend. Tennessee, Florida, A&M, Arkansas. We'll talk again next Wednesday. Subscribe to the page, comment with your thoughts, and we'll talk to you in a week. So long for now.